All right, guys, is the carnivore diet how your body is designed to eat? I'm going to talk about that. And I put trigger warning in the title because I did carnivore for 6 to 8 months, as well as, 18 years of other extreme diets, and I paid the price for it. I used to tie my identity to a diet. Anytime somebody told me carbs were beneficial, I would argue with them. I just couldn't think rationally. So in the video, I want to walk you through the science of why going carnivore may not be in your best interest, and just try to keep an open mind and not tie your identity to what you think you know about the carnivore diet, because it's not all bad. I have 2 freezers full of grass-fed, grass-finished beef, venison. I am not anti-meat, but that doesn't mean it's the best way for you to be eating. So let's just hop right into it. First of all, you can look at how our bodies are made from our teeth. Our teeth are omnivorous. It's designed to consume plant matter and meat. Our brains are very large for our body size. They require a tremendous amount of energy in the form of glucose. That is preferred energy source in the form of glucose to operate. Upwards of 20 to 25% is required for that of your body's overall intake. Your intestines, your guts, the smaller stomach, high acidity in a longer digestive tract, all things that make us up as humans, we're omnivorous. Okay, there is no arguing that. So keep that in mind when we're talking about going to a strict carnivore diet. Okay. Now let's talk about some individual issues. Many of these I experience myself. A lot of these I'm noticing in carnivore folks, including people who are coming to me looking for help to kind of battle some of these things. So let's start with the mineral imbalance. The one I would pay very close attention to is your phosphate intake. Okay. Meat is very high in phosphate, relatively high in phosphate. We do want to pay careful attention to our calcium and phosphate balance, because when calcium starts getting too high, okay, a couple of things can happen. One of which is your body can recognize that. And if you're not getting calcium intake through your diet, your body has a way of basically it increases parathyroid hormone and it goes to your body, okay, let's pull calcium from our calcium stores, which is your bones primarily, and to kind of balance out this phosphate. The other thing that can happen is it can be inflammatory. And this may just be my own personal observation. I like to think of myself as being pretty rational, but I am noticing that a lot of the carnivore influencers, if you will, seem to be aging prematurely. And I think they're in a very inflammatory state and kind of seeing some of that premature aging. I have no science for that. It's just my observation. Okay. Now, thyroid function, we do have plenty of science for. You require glucose to be able to convert T4 to T3. All right. You also require many other things, including good liver function, those sorts of things. However, if you're eating carnivore, and we're talking, strict carnivore here, you're not going to be getting glucose. Okay. But your body can make it other ways. People always tell me that, like, hey, I'm not eating carbs, I'm carnivore. Your body doesn't need it. And that's technically true. You're going to be miserable long term and you're not going to be able to thrive. You will survive, yes, but you're not going to be able to produce enough of your active thyroid hormone, or at least that's what happened with me. I was diagnosed low thyroid at the end of my carnivore stage, as well as pre-diabetic. Probably another video for another time. The other thing that's going to happen is as you're not consuming glucose through your foods, your body recognizes that and it will kick in a backup system, but that backup system is based off stress hormones to be able to provide your body with that glucose. That will increase cortisol levels. And anytime, basically any study that they've looked at, anytime stress goes up, cortisol goes up, thyroid hormone production goes down. Okay. That's not what we want. We want you to have a healthy metabolism that starts with your thyroid function. Okay. Insomnia. This was huge for me. Again, as we're increasing stress hormones, you're going to begin to have hormonal problems. I'll talk about that in a second, but you're also going to feel anxious. That was something that I started to notice. I'm not an anxious person. but I started to just kind of always have a feeling of being on edge, particularly at night. My sleep was terrible. That's what kind of prompted me to go to the doctor and being told, hey, you're pre-diabetic, you have poor thyroid function, you have insomnia, you have all these things. So that's something that people can see more and more of. Now let's talk about hormones. Okay, some of the good things about carnivore is you get plenty of cholesterol, you're making plenty of LDL, which is great for hormones. Okay. We get cholesterol into the cell and out comes pregnenolone. Okay. Pregnenolone is our master hormone, and that goes on to be made to any of the hormones we need. But we have a missing factor, cholesterol, LDL, but we also need T3. You need active thyroid hormone for this conversion to happen. So we can start to experience hormonal issues. I'm not saying I have thousands of people coming to me with issues, but I do have, as the channel grows, I have more and more people coming in going, I'm lacking the sex drive, I'm not sleeping well, having thyroid problems, some of these prototypical things we see people doing long-term carnivore or any extreme diet. Okay. And that's something to think about. It's generally thought of that if I do carnivore, I'm going to have all this cholesterol, I can convert it to more hormones. Cholesterol isn't the only thing you need. Okay. So with poor thyroid function comes eventually poor hormonal profiles. And that's something we tend to see long term. The other thing is gut health. I mean, if you're healthy, anytime they've looked at, say, tribes who still eat in a natural way, they will have anywhere from 1 to 3 bowel movements per day. That's pretty common. And I never had issues till I went carnivore. I wasn't going every day, and I knew that wasn't a good thing. I also felt lethargic, and I don't want to say bloated, but that's probably not a bad word to describe it. But I just didn't feel like my GI system was functioning very well. And because I wasn't going to the bathroom every day, that really concerned me. I knew that wasn't healthy. So that was my experience. And again, people that reach out to me share similar experiences. Again, guys, I know a lot of you were just like me. You think you have it all dialed in. Even though you're starting to experience problems, you kind of block those out like I did. You're like, no, carbs are terrible. No, this thing is terrible. I'm like, this is what they said. Insulin is the enemy and all these things I believe. And that's why I did this for so long. And I started to experience problems because I tied my identity to it. Please don't do that. Just, I've tried to lay out some of the science here, including my own experience to back it up, including the experience of many people who have touched base with me, you know, experiencing the same thing. The carnivore diet is not a panacea. It's not a cure-all. Are there benefits to it? Absolutely. It moves people away from processed foods and seed oils and some of these things we know that are good for us, but you don't want to get too radical with it. So I'm gonna stop there. That's my take on it. I hope I did not trigger you too bad, but if you did, let me know in the comments and we'll go from there. Also, let me know in the comments other topics that you want me to cover. Again, this was a suggestion from a viewer who kind of challenged me on, on my views. So I wanted to answer the question. So there it is. Also, grab your free checklist, guys, at my website. I go over 11 natural therapies I personally use and recommend. I guarantee there's one or two that you probably haven't heard of. So go grab that. Links in the description. See you in the next one.